Will and James Late Late Show. Hello.
Hello, welcome back to the Will and James Late Late Show.
Yes, welcome back. We need to apologise for last week's episode.
Yeah.
Because we said some things which were naughty. Right, so you remember last week's episode? Well, you won't remember, but if you do. Last week we had an episode of The Only Way is Wessex, our serial Regency-themed
drama.
Yeah. And there was a little bit
I'm not going to lie, James, I'm struggling to remember what it is that we said.
It was something very amusing.
I don't remember what the problem was. Refresh my memory of what we...
Basically, Mr. Darcy had
Yeah.
spent some time with a prostitute. Then he physically assaulted her. This was not the issue, though. It was the fact that he had a second go on her for free.
Oh, yeah, I remember. That was just hilarious, to be honest.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Apparently some people
But
took
Jam
issue
didn't
with it.
think so.
No. Actually, you're best at telling this story about the head of station, what he said to us.
Yeah, so basically, we were at the Jam house party. And and we're going there, and then I want my ego buttered up because I'm a horrific narcissist, and I goes to the head of the station. So tell me, what do you think about it? It was great, wasn't it? He goes, yeah, which is always the best start for a compliment.
Yeah,
and then he said, you might, yeah, no, yeah, and then there was an element of. We were talking about rape, which isn't a nice thing. No. On the other hand, right? Okay.
It does actually say we've before we came on air, we were handed a contract for Jam Radio presenters, and there is a specific section that says that under no circumstances
Part 3
presenters mention rape.
Yeah, Section 7, Part B. What was it? 2B or something?
Yeah, 2B.
Right. Yeah.
Specifically, no mentions of rape. Which we actually, this show, episode 3 has mentioned rape more times already for a combined total of episode 2, because as you're about to point out, no rape occurred.
Yeah, I know, and we've got a hilarious anecdote about it, so I think that's alright.
Yeah.
Also, if you check the old case or the old common law on rape, on theft, my apologies. Right, basically, Mr. Darcy had sexual intercourse with a prostitute, and he didn't pay anything for it. Those are the only facts so far. There was no rape involved.
No.
And
we made it very clear in the way that we had written what we had said.
Yeah.
That no rape had occurred.
Just another go. I mean, you can do that with a lover, but so well, you don't usually hit them after. Well, it depends what they're into.
Okay, digging a hole.
So yeah, but you can't steal sex. You can't do that because a prostitute has been to court before and said this guy went off without paying me. And no, that's not a theft. You're not allowed to do that. So yeah, not a rape, not a theft of sex, not anything.
We'd just like to make that clear. This is an excellent opportunity to plug our Facebook, because if you didn't hear last week's Only Way is Wessex...
I just remembered... Oh, no, please go. Sorry.
Well, it's now available online, isn't it? Have you put it online?
It's not yet. It will be probably in the next... couple of hours.
In the next couple of hours, it will be available online. So head over to... You're probably on the internet now. You have to be on the internet now, so you're probably on Facebook. Type in The Will and James Late Late Show at sign 8:15. Mm-hmm. Join that if you're not already a member. And then there'll be a link to our YouTube page, which will have on it the episode in which this event took place. And you'll be able to see for yourself that absolutely no crime was committed by Darcy.
And if it was a crime, it was very funny. No, there was no crime. Also, I just remembered, speaking of scandal, right, we had Magic Steve on last week, right?
Okay.
And as we were leaving the studio, like, we were packing everything up, we looked on a bit of paper which had our schedule on, and he must have written, does anyone have Andrew Sachs's number on it? which we thought was very funny.
Yeah. Oh, he has not been invited back this week, unfortunately. But he may be invited back in future weeks. Again, that will be available online. All these good things coming from our Facebook. Something on a positive note, though. Mm-hmm. We have fixed our aerial. If you listen to the last 2 previous shows, you'd have noticed that there were some tuning issues at the start of our show. they have gone this week.
Yep.
We cannot guarantee that they won't be back next week.
Yes.
But for the time being, they are gone. We are now a professional show again. Probably this leads us on to saying what we're going to have on this show. We're not having guests. What are we going to have?
This week we've got a theme instead of guests.
Yes.
And the theme this week is childhood.
Or specifically our childhoods.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And,
Yeah, I
some
guess
bits that
childhood in general.
everyone can relate to childhood.
Yeah.
So
Everyone's a
there'll be
child at
plenty-
some point. Yeah.
Some still are.
I don't feel like I've stopped being a child.
Yeah.
Like-
Some part of me never really thought I was a child. I always thought I was a bit too good to be.
You're an old man in a child's body.
Yeah.
I can imagine that. I can imagine you wearing cardies, sitting smoking your pipe.
You've seen a picture of me wearing a very nice cardigan
to be
as
fair,
a small boy.
yeah, the cardigan that he's wearing has definitely come back into fashion in Topshop.
The double-breasted,
Yeah.
thick, chunky knit cardigan. That is
Yeah.
definitely fashionable now. Yeah, there's an excellent picture of me wearing one of those sat atop a cannon.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
very
I-
good. Oh, yeah, well, I saw it.
Yes.
I don't know why
So
I
yeah,
sound
we'll be
surprised.
saying plenty of embarrassing stories about our own childhood,
Yeah.
playing some things that might relate to other people's childhoods.
Mhm.
We've still got our regular things, the news. There's
And
been a lot of news this week.
the less controversial episode of The Only Ways to Essex as well.
Yes, we have. Yes, slightly less controversial and at a later time because we're hoping that everyone will have left Jam Radio by the time we get around to playing.
So don't
Just
get-
in case, we can guarantee that there is no rape though. Although minor assault, possibly.
I don't think so. I think it's all...
It's all
legit.
good.
Yeah.
That's what it
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
We'll also have something else that we're going to try out. Will's Wide Web is when I talk about internet things, about websites, like the best websites that I've come across this week. I'm going to try it in a different style this week. So you will need to be on our Facebook if you're not already. Loads of people are. If you're not, get on it. Because I'm going to post links to the things that I'm going to be talking about because some of them are quite visual. Some of them I won't even talk about. I'll just post the links to so that you can have a look for yourselves.
Yep.
So it'll be a sort of 360-degree Will and James show this week.
Oh.
We'll be tantalising you in every way via the web. In webcam, audio,
Yes.
physical
Yeah.
links. It's all good.
We are a deep show.
Deep.
That's all I
We
can
like
say.
to like to broaden your minds
Yeah.
as well as entertain you here at the Will and James show.
yeah, in fact, it should be Will and James's late cultural review, really.
The cultural review. Brilliant. We are the South Bank show, essentially. Okay, we're going to play a couple of songs. When we come back, we're going to talk about
Oh, yeah.
childhood and stuff.
Yep, get on it.
Let's.
The Will and James show from 8:15 till late 15.
Well, thank you for that, James.
My apologies, Will. It didn't have a girl singing over acoustic guitar. I apologise.
Yes, you should apologise. Okay, now we're gonna talk about a few of our childhood stories. So we may as well start at the beginning.
Yeah.
How were you born, James?
I came out of my mummy's belly, innit? But what I also did... well... in fact, why don't we just raise a question? How are babies born?
I don't know the answer to that.
You're a
we can,
zoologist. Right, okay, basically...
a mummy elephant and a daddy elephant love each other very much.
What if they don't love each
And they
other?
shake
What if they
trunks.
hardly ever see each other anymore and they've just like stopped connecting?
Wow, deep-rooted issues. I actually quite like the fact that we're discussing our childhood on this show because it is a bit like therapy.
Yeah.
So embarrassing stories. I hope that by the end of this show you won't be saying things like that. You'll have been.
I've got to say, right, mine and Will's relationship is basically jam radio now. Right? Okay. It's all jam radio related things, you know. That's basically all we do. And our longest our longest conversation for the last half a year was us nattering on about our childhoods.
Which is what fueled this. So anyway, don't avoid the question.
Yeah.
How are you
right,
born?
Okay, how was I born? My mum was in the hospital, you know, in the dire straits of childbirth, you know, blah, 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 blah. And my dad was out buying a cheese and onion pasty. So he missed the beautiful moment when I came out.
To be honest, I think that says a lot about you, a sort of absent father figure from birth. Freud would have a field day with you. He'd enjoy it very much.
From birth?
Literally from birth. He's been having that pasty since.
He's still out for that pasty now. I haven't seen him since then.
Well, that's what your mum told you
Oh,
anyway.
yeah.
My story's a bit different. There's a sort of family joke that I'm a poo.
Oh, God. Right, go on.
So my mum was at home, And apparently she was on her way to the toilet when all of a sudden her water broke. Okay? And now I'd like to make it very clear early on that I wasn't born in the toilet, contrary to what the rest of my family might say. I was born in the small area of corridor outside the toilet. But my mum was on the way to the toilet at the time. She was on the way to the toilet. Obviously, thought she needed a poo. Accidentally did a baby instead. There was no like midwife or anything. Apparently, my dad got in the house. He was outside doing some gardening, and he had to catch me. Outside. All this took place in the small area of corridor.
Catch you?
Yeah, well, you know, like
I'm assuming that she wasn't standing up to do it, letting you drop on your head. Might as well put the brain damage in early.
Well, yeah. Well, at least I didn't land in the toilet bowl. So
yeah. Well,
every story has a
lucky miss.
Toilet duck lining.
But
yeah, I was a poo.
Yeah,
I was and still am a poo.
I got right. I don't always wonder this, but sometimes I wonder this. Like pregnant women on the toilet, isn't there like a bit of a misbalancing act going on there?
What do you mean?
I swear if you like,
what? They'll topple forwards.
Yeah, like if they've got so much weight, right, and you don't like sit right back on the toilet, do you? You're, like so.
Yeah, but
so
equally,
must be really...
your belly doesn't go in front of your knees, does it? When you're sat down, it will just sort of sit on your lap, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I guess so.
You're not going to, like... No, you would never fall
I
forwards. Otherwise, you'd fall out of every chair you sat on.
Well, no, but you sit back in chairs, but like on the toilet, you sort of... Do you like lean right back?
Oh, I don't lean right back. I sit upright in the same way that I sit on a chair.
Yeah, well, I usually like lean forward a bit. You know?
Brace yourself, literally the brace position.
Yeah.
Well, that's good to know. We've sort of slightly digressed from the theme of childhood onto what is your pooing position.
Well, actually, we're meant to like just squat down like animals anyway, aren't we? So
apparently, if you're telling me that, then it must be true.
We're meant to.
How were you taught? Because you had a brother, didn't you?
Yeah.
I grew up with two sisters. What was the relationship between you and your brother like?
It was alright. I mean, I'm not as close as some people say they are, but like just
no.
Also, like
I know some very close people.
Yeah,
a little bit too
weirdly close. Yeah,
I got people in mind.
Like the film The Dream is. Have you seen it?
But I would say that as a small child, I had a particularly bad. Well, not bad relationship with my sisters, but obviously like being a young boy and then being young girls.
Well, no, yeah.
I used to bully them. Well, they used to bully me, as we will find out. But I used to bully them quite a lot. They used to have locks on their doors, but for fire safety, my family refused to put like the little bolt locks. They refused to put them on the inside because if there was a fire and they needed to get them, and like, the girls didn't know, then if they got locked in their door, then they couldn't get them out. They had to like kick the door down or something. So instead, they put them on the outside. So whenever they wanted to be locked in their rooms with their friends, my parents would have to come along and lock them in.
Will, you've just used the word "wanted to."
Well,
are you sure they weren't thrown in there with a couple of pieces of bread and some water and told, "Be nice, but
to be fair, the amount of times that I then would go and get my stool, stand on it, and lock them in for long periods of the day,
because
there's nothing funnier than locking your sisters away and then being king of the house. Yeah, I used to lock my sisters because also there's another story. My neighbours had they keep chickens, and one year they had baby chicks. And they were going away on holiday, and they needed some people to look after them. So we volunteered to look after them, and they kept them in a little shed, sort of in the back of their garden. And we would go round, we'd like feed them every day, like make sure they're okay in this shed. And then like they were playing with them one day, and I decided to go home early. I was like, I've had enough. But of course, like being a shed, the lock is on the outside, so I thought, well, may as well lock them in here. But they were sort of far enough away for their screams to not be heard from our house or anyone else's house. I got home and the parents were like, "Oh, the girls they still want to play with the chickens, mum and dad." And then it was sort of tea time, and they were late for their tea, and they're like, "Those girls have been playing with those chickens for an awful long time." It got dark eventually before they went out to find them, and they'd been in there for so long that they'd had to urinate in milk bottles.
Firstly, I like that you specifically lied.
I remember. I actually remember as clear as this morning.
Also,
saying no, they want to be there. I used to lock them in things all the time.
And also, like, this is a shed. It's not like a 5-star hotel with a carpet.
It was quite nice. They had like they'd sort of done it up because it was sort of a shed den. So there were like sort of old sofas and chairs and rugs.
But there were chickens in it.
plush. Well, they were just in like a little cardboard
little
box.
Run. Oh, cardboard
because
box.
there's little tiny baby chicks,
Oh,
like tiny baby
that's
chicks.
so cute.
And so I don't know what they did about the adult chickens, but yeah, the little baby chickens have to be kept in this cardboard box, nice and warm.
Yeah.
So I locked them in. There's been other chicken incidents.
Dear me.
I locked them in another chicken run. It was like this ill-prized chicken. We were on holiday on a farm, and there's this chicken with like one of these really specialist ones. Apparently, it had to be like kept on its own because it was particularly ill. I locked them in that as well.
Yeah.
Managed to talk them in, and then ran away. And then the farmer came and was like, "You shouldn't be in with a prized chicken." I should do this quite a lot.
Yeah.
Do you think there's something wrong with me?
I think there's an.
I
would suggest not having children.
Me and my sisters, we're fine. We've gotten over that. We get on very.
They-
It's very rare that
They've
I
gotten over it. You locked them places. Well, I've got a locking story. Well, like my dad's like into sailing and that, and so he's got a friend who does it as well. And my dad and his friend's son and me and my brother went to the sailing club. And it was absolutely chucking it down. We had to do some like work on the boat and that, like sort of like, I don't know, put some nuts and bolts in some things, whatever it was.
Wow.
So
manly, James.
Don't want to be too technical. In layman's terms, we did some stuff to a boat, and it was absolutely chucking it down. So I went back in the car, and and then they started coming over, and I thought, you know, it'd be quite funny, right? And it was incredibly funny. It was incredibly funny for the whole quarter of an hour that they were out there. And then eventually, like, I just sort of thought, yeah, I'm probably going to need to go home at some point. So,
I would, as a child, I'd never have gotten to that thought process. I'd have probably got to the stage where, like, I needed the toilet or something, and so I had to get out. I would never have thought, well, I can't now go home.
Yeah, well,
I'd have just assumed that...
I wasn't that young. I was probably about 8.
Oh, okay. Oh, well...
Yeah.
That's still reasonably... That's young enough to get away with locking your parents out in the rain.
All I can say is that my dad didn't object to my brother hitting me in the arm. So,
yeah,
there we go.
Wow. Were you hit much as a child?
What? By my brother?
Anyone?
By my dad?
Anyone?
Oh, my dad slapped us on the legs. In fact, a lot of me and my brother's car journeys as a child was my dad leaning round whilst driving and slapping us on the legs. That's what my mum remembers of them.
Fond days.
Yes. Pretty funny, really.
Wow. I think we've already progressed quite far in our child therapy.
But what I'd like to ask is,
I might need to take this.
Yeah, in fact, you've just avoided this completely.
By what?
We've got to ask each other.
I don't think I was hit as much as my sisters. My sisters say they were hit all the time.
Yeah.
Apparently. I used to have memories of being hit a lot. I don't know. I don't really remember.
Did they use psychological punishments for you?
I was definitely psychologically punished. To be honest, I was punishing myself psychologically just by doing things.
I do that every day. Don't worry.
Just by being myself.
My self-loathing is through the roof.
Take this next song break as an opportunity to ring my family and apologise for all the stupid things that I've done.
And I'm going to lock you out the studio. So.
That's very generous. This is a song about golden lions.
Will and James, Late Show.
Welcome back.
Hello, everyone.
Now, that was an excellent break. Me and my sister had a really long talk about all the issues.
There was a couple of tears.
I'm still crying inside. All credit to them. They did get their own back on me on a couple of occasions.
Oh, yeah?
In fact, there was one specific time when we had a French exchange student called Fabienne.
Oh, right, yeah.
She came to stay with us, and I remember on repeated occasions her forcing me to get into our guinea pig run and locking me in that.
I like this.
I don't know what it is about locking people in sort of confined spaces with animals.
Yeah.
It's very degrading.
Yeah, that's really humiliating.
It is really inhumane. Looking back, actually, I'm surprised that I'm not more disturbed. But yeah, no, on repeated occasions. Fabienne was an unwanted house guest. She drank all our Sunny Delight. She always wanted to play Monopoly, like really.
What,
late.
really?
Yeah.
Like, real passion for Monopoly.
Monopoly, like, well, I don't know if it was like Monopoly and Mousetrap. She always wanted to play them.
How old was she?
Older than, I'd say about 13 at the time.
13.
About the same age as my oldest sister.
I've got to say, I've never met a 13-year-old with a real passion for Monopoly or Mousetrap.
She was French and a bit strange. She locked me in guinea pig runs.
Yes.
Yeah, she was not a welcome guest at all.
Yeah. Speaking of unwelcome guests...
How very tidy.
Yeah. Yes. What a perfect segue. It's as if we planned it. Yeah, oh my god, I used to properly hate having guests around my house. Like, just awful, because we talked about this before. Like, they touch your stuff and they put it back in the wrong places and stuff. It just really stresses
Your house
me
would
out.
look like a bomb site after you've had friends.
Yeah, I
around.
know. Like, and I've always been so like unwilling to touch anything. If somebody offers me some food, then I'll say,
You're still
no,
like
thank
that.
you. Yeah, I am.
You really are.
Very true.
You like if you sit down on my bed, if you ever were in my room, you'd move everything so you weren't sitting on anything, and then sort of like smooth the creases out.
Don't do that.
No, that's something that I've definitely noticed about you. You are really.
Well, firstly, moving things so you don't sit on them. That is
like,
just plain politeness.
sitting on like someone's used pajamas.
Yeah.
Like, no one cares.
I know. Well, it would be worrying if I folded them up, ironed
Just
them,
folded them up, put them under
away.
my pillow.
Yes,
Kissed
your
me
pillow.
goodnight.
Yes. Sprayed some of my aftershave on your pillow. Something
could
to
do.
remember me by. No. Well, okay. Yeah, I guess like sort of respect for people's property.
Well, it's not a bad
stuff.
thing, is it?
Yeah, true.
But equally, I used to hate going to other people's houses.
I didn't
I
mind
wasn't a
that
big fan of that.
so much.
I'd always prefer to having people mine, but
Yeah. Sort of like invasion, isn't it? So,
yeah. It's like you have everything how you like it.
yeah. I mean, and I remember I must have been about 5, and my mum invited a kid over to my house, right? Okay. And it just completely, I hated it so much when, like, she said, "Oh yeah, he's coming over." And I was in tears, blah blah blah, saying, "No,
Your best friend.
no." Yes, no. Well, he'd never come over to our house before, and she just like invite him, and I didn't want him there. And then I actually said to his face when he was there, "You're an uninvited guest."
That's actually terrible.
I know.
You're an awful child. Imagine
Oh,
if you're...
come on!
Imagine if you're in his situation where you're someone who you'd never been to their house before. You imagine like whenever you're a guest at a new place, you're always a bit nervous. You want to impress. You want to at least be nice, and then the host just comes up to you and says, "You are uninvited."
No, I didn't say you're like. I didn't mean it as in you are no longer invited here. I just said I didn't invite you. What are you doing here? Probably didn't have that thought process.
That puts
But
all my
on the
issues
other hand,
with friends in perspective.
it doesn't. Yeah. Just it was so stressful, and that has lasted till today. I don't like having people over at my house at all.
I'm fine with it now. I'm pretty grown up to accept people having.
Right, when I go
being
over
in
to
my
people's
house.
houses, things that I drink, water. If I want a beer, then I'll
I don't
pay
think that's
them for
particularly
it.
unusual though.
Well, just ask them for water. Oh no, some people honestly like they take what they like.
Well, yeah.
I'm not joking.
Fabienne, the Sunny Delight.
Yeah, I know. It's just astonishing. I can't understand it. It's something that really stresses me. In fact, I'm stressing myself out with the thought of it. I'm not even joking.
What were you like with babysitters then? I hated babysitters. I was not a big fan.
No, I liked ours. She was like this like pleasant, like sort of quite old lady. She was very nice. Viewer. Yeah, gone now.
You ever fancy any of your babysitters?
We had a very pretty one. In fact,
It's quite a usual thing, isn't it, for you to?
yeah, it's because it was my main babysitter's daughter, right? Okay, and there was one time where I was like, I was screaming and crying all night. You know,
It was last night.
Yeah, she came round, gave me a little kiss. I was all right. Yeah, this is before my parents came around, and she was there with her mum, and I was screaming, and Vera couldn't put us to bed, mum and dad couldn't put us to bed, and then her daughter comes along.
How old were you at this stage?
Like 2.
And you still fancied this? How old was she?
Well, I didn't fancy it, did I? Like,
Well,
not really. You don't have any sort of...
Slept very well that night.
You don't have any concept
At
of
ease,
sex
fully
when
at
you're
night.
like...
Well,
young.
hasn't he? Freud.
Oh, yeah, I guess so.
But this is essentially our Freud show.
Yeah. So, how were your babysitter experiences?
I
any?
don't particularly have any great babysitting experiences.
No.
I didn't particularly enjoy having babysitters. I always felt it was a bit of a burden. Plus, being the youngest child, I always used to have to go to bed earlier than everyone else.
God.
So that was always a nightmare. What we did have was there was a mother's group. So
Yeah.
my mum was friends with a few other mums with children around the similar age, and we used to do things together.
Yeah.
We used to go on days out to parks and go around each other's houses.
Mm-hmm.
And there was one particular occasion where we went to this forest called Thetford Forest,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and we were sort of walking around the forest, and there was about 8 of us, about 4 girls, 4 boys, and obviously we were doing our own things. and being boys, we like to explore.
Mm-hmm.
And we came across this this log.
Mm-hmm.
It was a sort of like telegraph pole width. Looked a bit. It was quite nice.
Yeah,
it sort of
yeah.
looked like a telegraph
I
pole.
like the sound of it.
It was
already.
about it was about 5 foot long. It just looked really nice.
Yeah.
And sort of being boys and hunter gatherers, we decided to keep it.
Yeah.
So we picked it
of
up and we
course.
thought, well, we're going to carry this around. It's a really nice, really
Yeah.
smooth, nice log. We're going to carry it around.
Yeah.
And so, like 5 minutes. That was 5 minutes in to our walk through the forest. Like 2 hours later, when we get back to the car park, we've still got it. We've carried it the whole way. And then eventually, we get back to the car park. Everyone's getting in the cars. We sort of look at each other like,
This is it, boys.
well, this is a bit sad, you know. This log has been a part of us. He's been He's been the 5th member of our team.
It was like going over the top in the trenches. I was
We may never see each other again.
Because this
but
is the thing
we have
about
this moment.
when you're that age, you like sort of don't understand that like
Any sort of sense
things
of
are transient.
time. No,
Yeah.
Well, anyway, we put it in my boot. we decided to keep this log. My boot, my mum's boot. We put it in the boot. Took it home, and to this day, it remains in my garden.
I love that so much.
So that's transience for you.
Yeah, where
it
is-
is. It is.
How is it?
It is still. It's a bit soggy. I think. It has
Yeah.
rotten with age because it has been. I don't know, over nearly 12,
Yeah.
13 years since we got this log,
Yeah.
and it is still in my. I think I've actually sawn a bit off of it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh no.
I know. Well, it was such nice wood. I thought I'm going to
Yeah,
use this,
yeah,
and I think I only got like halfway through as well. So,
Could have made it
can't
into a
do this,
lovely
yeah.
toaster.
Totem.
Coaster. Not toaster.
Could have carved it into a totem pole or something.
Yeah,
if I'd
you could've done
have
that.
been able to wield a
Yeah, if you could whittle.
chisel.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I couldn't. But yeah, no, that is still. I look at it
Yeah.
and I'm reminded of that day. And the thing is, like the group of boys, we were all sort of about a year
Yeah.
apart. So there's like a couple older than me, a couple younger than me. So at school we were never in the same classes, but like I've seen them since, like in the last couple of years, and I've talked to them about this experience. Apparently they remember it as well. So it was quite a powerful. Like whenever I see it, I'm reminded of the happiest days of my life.
It's like that film Stand By Me, except without the dead body. Yeah, me and my brother always had sticks, and like all the time, we always had at least one, and like perfect sword length sticks, and yeah, and one of them that I had was like perfectly round, really straight and stuff like that. It was absolutely brilliant.
That is like the thing with children is that the simplest things can actually make you incredibly happy.
Yeah.
Like half the time it's not like something expensive
Yeah.
doesn't mean as much as something that you've just found and is awesome.
Yeah, I know, absolutely.
Although to be honest, a stick. I mean, come on,
Yeah.
put it
Well-
together. I found a whole log. I've kept that log.
It's quality over quantity. Right? I still remember what that stick looks like.
So you still have it?
Yeah, no, I moved house,
Oh,
unfortunately.
wow. You should have taken it with you. I'd definitely, if it meant that much to me.
Well, it broke in half at one point.
Oh.
When we were
Oh wow!
fighting.
Did you cry?
Yeah.
You did.
No, I didn't.
Oh wow!
That's
a lie.
Yeah,
is
to
just
be
a
fair.
downright
I
lie.
remember I had like a lovely little groove just where my thumb should be. It
Oh,
was really nice.
nostalgia. Oh,
Well, this is high quality radio.
talking about sticks.
Yeah, let's
What is
segue
it?
clumsily into dens.
Actually, no. I was going to say that
Oh, right,
our
you've got
segueing. No, I think our segueing has been superb so far.
All right, okay. Well,
I think it has
let's
been-
ruin it right now.
You just totally ruined it. Well, I didn't really make dens. I had a tree house. A pretty
Oh,
serious
yeah,
tree
yeah,
house. So I didn't really.
Yeah, it was
Need a
something that
den.
was already there.
We used to. That's something else that me and my sisters used to do. We used to make soup for our parents by getting a bowl from the kitchen, filling it with like water, and then there was like bark around our tree house. So we put bark in, and then there was a willow tree. So we took willow tree leaves with like caterpillar eggs in. We mushed it all up.
Are they caterpillar eggs?
And the little red things, apparently, yeah.
Oh, right,
Yeah,
wow.
with caterpillar eggs, and we mushed it up and we called it soup, and we tried to get our parents to eat it. Aren't you proud of us? Look what we've cooked. Soup, no.
Did they eat any of it?
Absolutely.
How
not.
did they explain that? How did they explain that they didn't want
They
your
just
soup?
refused. They're not stupid.
Yeah, to be fair, how was your older sister?
No,
How
no,
old
no.
was your older sister at that point?
18.
Yeah, 12.
Well,
She got
elder sister probably didn't do it so much. It was me and my sort of slightly
Yeah.
younger sister who'd have been about 8 to 10.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. I'll let you.
You'll
get
let
away
that
with
slide.
one,
My
yeah.
soup stories.
Yeah.
That's what we used to. What did you used to do in your dens?
Well, no, it was a case of make them.
make them.
You didn't do anything in them. It was the joy of making them. We had a bush in the corner of our front garden, which like sort of hollowed out quite nicely, and we had some trees out the back garden, which had like perfectly climbable branches, and they were all like really tightly put together branches. So like it was absolutely perfect. But yeah, it was all about the climbing, not about the sort of enjoying the atmosphere.
I never really did it. I was more of a domestic child doing the cooking.
The washing up.
The washing up. No, there's no washing up.
Actually, and our grandparents, like my granddad was like a real sort of handyman, like really practical. And we actually made a treehouse in an apple tree out of a door and some other pieces of wood, because my granddad always hoarded wood because he was a handyman.
Ordered spare doors.
Yeah.
Just to be used. Wow, fair enough. We always, our treehouse was quite tall. Yeah. And our neighbours had a tree house that was like, it was an apple tree, so not as good. We had a willow tree, proper tree, apple tree, and they're like those ones with like particularly low branches.
Yeah.
And they just had like a flat square bit of, it was like a pallet board or something, but like sort of without holes in, that they just sort of rested in the sort of base of this apple tree. And it was about a foot off the ground.
Really, it's a platform.
It was essentially a slightly raised platform, but we used to look from our tree house into their tree house and be like, yeah. We've got the real tree house. I think we know who the winner is here.
Bloody snob.
Shall we? That's enough of tree houses. I'm sure we've bored everyone. Shall we play some songs, James?
Yeah. Okay. This is what is this song? We haven't introduced any songs. Come on, let's get.
I
to
introduced Gold Lion.
Did you? All right.
This, I believe, all being well, should be Metronomy.
The Will and James Show from 8:15 till late 15.
Oh.
Hello. Welcome back.
Yes, you are very welcome back. We're going to break away from talking about our childhood now.
Yeah.
Because there's been enough tears in the studio.
Yeah, it's getting a bit intense now, to be honest. I'm getting uncomfortable.
I'm possibly too comfortable. We're going to do some news. There's been a lot has happened in the news this week.
Oh, yes.
I've got a couple of news items. You've got a couple of news items. Who wants to go first?
Will does.
Okay. You may have heard, listeners, about the very sad breakup of Kim Kardashian and her husband. Don't know his name.
A nation wept.
The nation has spoken because they object. Basically, if you don't know who Rob Delaney is and you are on Twitter, you are the worst person listening to this, because Rob Delaney is probably the best person on Twitter. But he's an American comedian. He's hilarious, and what he's now doing is suing Kim Kardashian for divorcing. He's saying that the reason why is because she's made her entire career out of reality TV. Mm-hmm. She's sort of pushed her marriage onto everyone in America.
Yep. And
it's lasted something like 72 days, something crazy like that. And now she's going to get even more TV shows about her breakup, and then even more. And people don't like it because a normal person would never get divorced after 72 days. It would have to be sort of exceptional circumstances rather than, don't actually like him, it was just for TV.
It's like that tart Katie Price. Like,
yes, it is exactly like this.
It's like she makes these television programs. Oh, I'm so miserable because I'm on a breakup. Ka-ching!
Yes. Kim Kardashian has apparently turned into the American version of Katie Price here and is milking her failed marriage. There's a thing on Twitter, what is longer than Kim Kardashian's marriage? Things like Lindsay Lohan's lines of coke. Stuff like that. Yeah, so comedian Rob Delaney is now suing her for being an idiot and getting divorced and having to put everyone in America through this. I think that is hilarious, and I hope to God that he wins. He won't, but I hope to God he will.
Although, to be fair, if he receives any money out of the TV shows that she's made off of him, which he probably will,
possibly,
he should be all right.
To be honest, it's hilarious that he's doing it anyway.
Yeah.
He should be congratulated.
Wait, he's a comedian, is he? I've never heard of him.
He's an American comedian. He's
is he actually
not
funny?
Particularly famous. He is really funny.
An American that's funny?
He's genuinely funny.
Oh, right. Okay.
He's the best person on Twitter to laugh at. He's regularly funny. He's a bit weird. He's not everyone's taste, but he is funny.
To be fair, I would still marry Kim Kardashian even if it was for 72 days. That would be a good 72 days.
Yeah, he's done very well. I don't even know the name of the husband. I'm not going to look it up because it's not really worth it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's more news from over the pond. Also, before a couple of days ago, actually, my housemate Ben told me about this story about an American girl whose mother is again another sue here is suing the school that she goes to because apparently they've been mispronouncing her name.
Ooh! Now the amount of times that I've had James Kelly
Yes.
I think that I could probably sue a couple of phone operators.
That's understandable. James Skelly sounds like James Kelly.
Yeah.
That's really understandable. I always get my surname's always spelled because my surname's Park,
Yeah.
like a recreational sports field.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, people always want to put either E's,
Yeah.
S's, or ES's, or ER's on the end, or ERS.
Yeah.
Yes,
Because Park's
like all
quite-
the time. Like people want to spell it Parks.
Yeah, but Park isn't like an
Park
out of
is
the
not
ordinary
a
name.
like I actually know more people with the surname Park than Parks.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not particularly good, but yeah, apparently people do that. But well, anyway, this girl in America, this mother's suing the school because, and I'm going to tell you the name because they've been mispronouncing
Right.
her name, which is spelt L
Yeah.
hyphen A.
Right. Okay.
Right, have a go at saying that.
La.
La.
L-A.
Well, apparently they've been saying sort of like Leia or Leah
Yeah.
or something, which is kind of understandable. If you're presented
Yeah.
with two random letters and a
Yeah.
hyphen, you'd
In
sort
fact,
of
I would just
make
think
it
that-
sound like another name. wouldn't
Yeah, I would think it was just a computer error rather than anything.
you? Well, apparently, no. Apparently, L-A should be pronounced Ladasha
Jesus Christ.
because in America a hyphen is a dash, and according to the mother, that dash don't be silent.
Stupid cow.
Silent dash.
Oh, Jesus Christ. And she's suing on...
She's suing the school for not
Right.
pronouncing it Ladasha.
Okay.
I actually think the joke's on her because Ladasha is a worse name than Leia.
Yeah. Leia was a beautiful princess
is-
in Star Wars. Not that you know well.
I have seen episode 1, thank you.
And she
It is-
wasn't in it.
Well, that is enough of
Anyway-
Star Wars.
Anyway, this is a thought process I have, right? Okay. Americans, you don't really have that much of an obligation. Like, you pay for your own lawyers.
Yeah.
I don't think that a free lawyer would ever... one that's provided for you would ever bring that up. Would ever support that case. Right, okay. And judging by the name, I'm assuming that they're probably trailer trash. Like, poor as out. So, how are they going to afford this? How could they think that they would win?
Possibly because of the amount of publicity that it's caused. Obviously, they've gone to the media. Hey, look, I'm going to sue this school because they've been pronouncing my name wrong, and then papers will pay for them to do it.
You reckon?
It's America, probably, yes.
Because also, like, just litigation itself is expensive. I don't see why they would do it for just a cheap laugh. You know?
I imagine that they probably are just doing it for a cheap laugh. And also just to get famous. That's what
Yeah.
Americans are like.
It is disgusting.
What other news have you got for me?
Right,
That's
okay.
my news done.
I have got
Actually, I have a bit more news, but I'll talk later
a
about
couple
it.
of good things. There's this one in the Telegraph about what's it called? Hollister. That's the one. Apparently, there's been various complaints from parents about it being too dark. Have you been into a Hollister before? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, and it's all scented and dark and sensual. Well, apparently people bump into things. So yeah, it's like sort of a club-like environment. So and we've got a mother here saying, "I went to look somewhere else. I just couldn't find." In response to being unable to find her teenage daughter, mother Linda Watson says, "I went to look somewhere else and I just couldn't find her. When I turned around because it was so dark, I had to come out to phone her." Kel Damage. We've got another one.
Why would you intentionally make your shop that dark, though?
Well, we've got like sort of.
There's only
quote from
so
a-
much atmosphere
yeah.
you can get from a dimmer switch.
There's a quote from a worker there that says, "It creates an atmosphere that allows you to come in and hang out while finding some cool clothes. It gives a type of casino feel where people can get lost in a club-like environment. People are relaxed and hopefully spend
Relaxed.
Yeah,
If I ever get lost in a club, I'm not relaxed. That is
Yeah.
not the first emotion that comes to me.
I'm never relaxed in a club. Full stop. To be honest, I'm nervous and sweaty.
Yes.
Like
So
it's just-
the whole thing is like a club-like environment.
Yeah,
so
it's
complete
just-
with sticky floors, long queues.
someone dropping the drink down your shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be fair, it is some really good branding. They've done something very good, like the sort of perfuming. I know in like Newcastle shopping, like in one of the shopping centres in Eldon Square in Newcastle, like you can just smell the Hollister from right down the other end of the building, and it smells brilliant. And you do want to go in there because it's so dark and trendy and beachy.
So trendy, is it?
Yes, that's something that really picks off my dad. You can probably tell that I'm not the sort of person that is allowed to shop in Hollister. I chuck my shirt into my trousers, etc.
It's the same with Lush, the soap shop.
Yeah,
like walking past there and getting the overwhelming smell of like 100 different soaps.
But that's
just, to me,
they've got a legit reason though.
Well, yeah, it just is. Well, to be honest, I think they do sort of amplify their smells. I do think it's partly manufactured because nothing can smell that strong. No amount of soap can smell that bad. But yeah, that has the opposite effect for me. That just gives me headaches.
Yeah. I quite like it personally.
I quite like one bar of soap, but like being surrounded by soap, it's really, like everything's really waxy. It stinks of like lavender. It's the worst environment to be in.
Yeah. Right. Next story. Drunk man steals $8 sandwich, then takes a forklift to help him escape. This is from Metro.
Is this in the UK?
No, it's $8, so it must be in America. So this 38-year-old guy goes into a pub steaming drunk, orders an $8 sandwich. That's like £5 in it.
Yeah.
And then runs out, and then, as a getaway vehicle, once he got tired of running, he gets into a forklift. So that's
not
good.
the fastest.
No,
I suppose you could just go through walls and stuff, couldn't you? Or lift police out of
the way. you misestimate how strong a forklift is.
Oh, they're pretty strong.
Well, they could lift a policeman, not a wall. In fact, I think you could probably run faster than a forklift at top speed, couldn't you?
Yeah, I imagine so.
So that's quite useless. Next story.
Criminal of the week goes to him.
Oh yeah. Did we talk about the guy last week who broke into someone's house?
No, we didn't, did we?
Did we not?
I don't know.
All right, well, let's
Can't
quickly
remember.
recap on that story. A criminal goes into some people's house. I don't know if I can say this. And, he breaks in, records a video of the house owner performing an act of onanism on himself whilst watching pornography. And then feeds the dog some mushrooms
and kills it.
Yeah. Well, the dog dies from the mushrooms apparently.
Yes.
And then leaves.
The actual report in the newspaper just says a man from Ohio reported to the police that a man had broken into his basement, recorded him watching and masturbating to pornography.
Yeah.
And then killed his dog by feeding it mushrooms before leaving, and apparently taking nothing. This is supposed to be a burglary.
Yes.
He is criminal of the week for every week. The guy that did that.
Well, this is a slightly toned down version of it, but no, in fact, I sort of like this one a bit more because it's more light-hearted.
There's definitely sort of like dark noir undertones to the other one.
Yeah, this is another American one. Jason Leon Bastrom, that's a nice name, isn't it? 32. Claims the front door of a North Portland house had a doormat which said "Welcome," so he went into it, right? And and this is brilliant. Like this is like about 7 o'clock in the morning. He goes in there. Basically, he plays the piano right? and then watches telly.
A classy criminal.
Yeah, I love the idea of him strolling in there and then just dashing out a jaunty tune, playing the entertainer.
Did he actually take anything?
No,
it wasn't a burglary. It was just use of piano.
Basically,
what is the crime there?
Trespassing. Yeah, I don't think he got. Although it would appear that Bastrom didn't intend on stealing anything, he's been charged with criminal trespass in the first degree. That's like sort of American terminology. So they call up the brother-in-law when he hears some guy downstairs. The brother-in-law comes in, just punches him in the face.
Whilst playing piano.
Yeah, he was just watching telly and he punches him in the face. For fear he could be armed and dangerous. To be fair, that's a pretty fair assumption to make.
Yeah.
Although,
well, I don't know. Someone
it could have been
playing the piano. Someone playing clocks. Not necessarily going to be armed and dangerous.
Yeah,
I like that. He is a very.
Although it is thought that the intruder was either high on drugs or alcohol or is mentally ill. Oh, yeah.
He had a good time.
Yeah. This is my favourite news story ever. Right, it's on nwfdailynews.com. Sister kicks brother in genitals. That's the title. Right. In fact, I'll read the whole article out because it's not that long. A family disturbance on Kobe Avenue escalated when a 19-year-old woman kicked her brother in the genitals. She is charged with domestic battery. The brother said she scratched him too. A deputy noted he had scratch marks on his back and chest and was bleeding from his ears. Oh, wow, okay, that's pretty harsh.
That's fair.
I assume that wasn't from the kick from the genitals. In an interview with the sister, she told the deputy she pushed him, slapped him, scratched him, and kicked him in the genitals. The topic of the initial argument was not in the arrest report. You know journalistic integrity, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that's newsworthy at all? That's absolutely rubbish. This is a professional news site. It's about something that happens every day in every city. That's so rubbish.
I quite like it though. It gives you a sense of perspective. It keeps your feet on the ground. If you just heard about like terrorist attacks and like thefts and stabbings and stuff, you might get a bit disillusioned. You need these sort of grassroots criminals to keep you on the ground.
Why don't you just go into a rough part of your local area and then
why don't you just kick someone in the genitals?
Yeah, you can live the dream, baby.
Oh wow! Now there's been another bit of news. Do you have any more news, James?
No, that's it.
There's been another bit of news. Very sad bit of news this week. I don't know if you heard, but Jimmy Savile sadly passed away.
Oh dear.
Now, listeners to our episode 1, our first show, will have known that James did his own version of Jim Will Fix It. That James Will Fix It.
Yeah.
How are you coping? How is day 2 of no Savile? Savile watch.
Yeah. I'm quite hurt really because I had some things that would have quite like fixed for me and they're never going to happen now.
I'm sure there's a lot of children in the same situation. Yeah. I'm quite surprised he was like 81.
Yeah.
And he lived quite a crazy lifestyle.
Yeah. I saw him on Ricky Gervais once. He was properly funny.
Really?
He must have been like about 80 then, or 78. Anyway, what would you have fixed for you if you were on?
If I was a child?
No.
Well, I would quite like to go to the moon, but that's pretty.
You heard how James Will Fix It solved that.
Yeah. I don't know. Just some biscuits.
Dear Jim, can you fix it
Keep
for
it
me?
Real.
For Will to love me. No, that would be a waste of it.
I would just like the great man to be back in our life. To be honest, I'm surprised he wasn't already dead. It actually surprises me he was still alive.
It's like Bruce Forsyth. He's gonna clock it.
That will be sad though. I'll be genuinely sad about Bruce Forsyth. Not too bothered about Jimmy Savile.
I'm not asked about Bruce. In fact, Bruce Forsyth annoys me.
Oh wow.
Well, to be fair, he looks like a corpse. Just come on.
He looks like a moustached corpse.
Do you think
he looks like a stylish?
Do you think he lives in a coffin when he's not on air?
He's not Dracula.
Well, to be fair. Anyway,
it does look a bit. I imagine the Halloween Strictly Come Dancing.
I think his skin's probably like paper. I think you could just tear his skin like a napkin.
He'll disintegrate in a strong breeze.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh wow. Well, I think that's the end. That concludes our news.
Yeah.
Time for some more songs.
We're left on a downer, but
hopefully, there'll be some more stupid criminals for
us to prey on.
For us to prey on next time. There's never a lack of them.
No. Will and James Late Show.
Well, welcome back, James.
Welcome back.
You've just sort of offended everything that I like.
Well, we're not allowed to say that. Look at the sign next to us.
Well, the sign that says "Do not say that." Oh, that was a rubbish song. Well, it wasn't. I'm not saying it was. I'm saying that you.
I would say that my opinion
you are a cad, sir.
Differs from yours, and yours is worse than mine.
My opinion is
it's invalid, isn't
Let's move on. Still coming up in the show. We still got the Anyways Wessex. So within the next 45 minutes, we'll make sure that's on air. That is a must listen to.
Absolutely.
That'll be coming up later. Until then, we haven't actually talked about our childhood in a while.
No, we haven't.
Talked about other things.
Let's get to it.
What kind of things did you play with as a child? What kind of toys?
Well, my brother was quite he was very good at thinking of sort of activities and stuff to do, and so we got and we spent a lot of time in the garden as well, and so we got sort of multiple use out of various toys, I suppose. So when we were really little, really tiny, we had this slide, this freestanding slide. It was about 3 foot tall. Yeah, do you reckon that's 3?
I think that's about 3 foot.
Yeah, plastic slide, just really gentle incline. Must be for sort of babies to really small toddlers. And we also had a space hopper, as a lot of people did. just like novelty sort of item.
I had one of those. I never really like.
Well,
we didn't really find much. There a lot of effort. You have to put in a lot of effort to get anything.
It's not a viable mode of
just,
transport.
Just jump around yourself. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Like we didn't really use them for their desired, for their original purposes. But we got to reuse a slide as well. Yeah, you know, TIG or tag or it. Yeah,
stick in the mud. Yes, I've learned. What?
Right. Well, we would use the slide as the token for being it, and you had to hit the other person in the feet with it. Like
so the slide instead of like jumping and tagging someone,
the slide,
you had to hit them with the slide in the feet.
The slide slid along the floor really nicely, and if you like running forwards with it, then like sort of your momentum would make you go quite fast.
That sounds just quite dangerous.
It hit, but it really made you not want to be on. And the space hopper, right? We combined that with the slide because the slide had two sort of not railings, but handles, yeah. Which so you could jam a space hopper in it, so it would be in the position of a person. So like that became what my brother christened the president, right? And there were various things about protecting him, like so, you know.
That's a bit weird. That strikes me as
strange. No, it's just like it's something that if somebody throws a stick at the president's head and it falls off, then you'd lose. It's a good game.
Well, that makes a lot of sense, but just sort of
after some of the stories you've told me,
deity and
it's not deity. We didn't actually take order of him. Oh, Mr. President, you want me to shoot John Lennon?
Right. Oh, well, I never did stuff like that. I had a go-kart.
Yeah,
and that was probably when I first learnt about driving, because we had like this long path in two halves with like stone slabs.
Yeah,
and I wanted to know how to drive properly, so I asked my dad, what side do you drive on? It was like, oh, you drive on the left. Mm-hmm. But obviously, being a child, I couldn't get my head around the fact that if you go left in one direction, it's the other side when you came back. So I used to just drive on the same side, imagining it was on the left. And yeah, I had quite a good relationship with this go-kart because I used to feed it.
Yeah,
there was like a little gap between your legs, but it had gears. Right. It was quite a good go-kart. It had gears. And there was a little gap where the gear stick was, and I used to fill it with grass because I sort of felt guilty about always riding it and it never get fed. Yeah, and also I just wanted to like put things in it because it entertained me.
Yeah, you said that like because like grass sort of mushes up.
Well, it does. It gets sort of oily if you crush it. Yeah. So I thought, well, it won't do anything bad. Plus, it will be nice. You know, the car gets to eat some grass. So yeah, I used to feed my go-kart grass.
It likes it. Right. Okay. After you just criticised me for making the president a deity. The president had a face. You just tried to feed
it just seems
a
too
car.
Real. Yeah, because I wanted to. Normal people put petrol in cars, and I just felt bad that this was getting nothing. I was peddling it. It gets nothing out of it.
Normal people want to protect their president.
It's just the fact that you had to create another person and he was automatically better than you. The peasant.
That's quite funny, actually.
It was like, oh, we need a superior here because at the moment our games have no rules.
Yeah, we're absolutely incompetent as it is. We need the executive. There was another situation as well, like because I was quite into like sort of video games.
Yeah,
and I remember we got the. Oh, I didn't tell you about this. The N64, I won that by drawing a picture when I was 3. I don't remember it at all, and I imagine it'd be rubbish and not worth an N64. But we got it.
Always brag about that. That is your claim to fame.
Yes, that's actually the best thing I've ever. It's probably the most expensive thing I've ever won. It definitely is.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and so yeah, and obviously everyone got Mario 64 with it. Now, this is going to alienate a lot of people, such as Will, because he didn't play it. Did you?
No.
Did you ever play it?
I never.
Did you have an N64?
No.
Oh, well, your parents might as well have just beaten you around the head.
We'll come on to what I did instead in just a moment, James.
Right. And that must have been about...
Actually, I think it was sort of voluntary to not want a games console when I was a child.
Voluntary?
Yeah, I just didn't really get it.
You didn't get it, but that... Like, when I was a child, I'd just take it anyway. No, but like, we had a... And also, like, I'm really glad that we did, like... And also, these games consoles have got a life after this, because at every party, crack out the N64, James Bond,
even
GoldenEye.
now?
Yeah, I'm not joking. It goes down an absolute treat. So yeah, Super Mario 64. First level is the Bomb Battlefield, yeah? Everyone knows that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's the second star on it is Race with Koopa the Quick, right? Okay, where you race this Koopa up to the top of the mountain, right? When you get to the top of the mountain, if you win the race, then you win the race, that's it. It keeps your time, done. I didn't understand this fully, and I thought that if you left the mountain, then you would lose the race. So one time, my brother jumped off the mountain, and I became incredibly distressed.
Did you cry?
Yes, I did.
Wow.
Yeah, I actually went crying to my mum because my brother. Well, he was teasing me as well. My brother used to really tease me quite a lot.
Yeah, I think that's quite normal. I don't really get to the Mario reference because I've never driven up mountain bombardment or whatever. But yeah, I can imagine the teasing is quite, especially when they know something that you don't.
Yeah, I know that was not.
My sister's like back in the like really olden days when we had a TV that didn't have a remote, you still had to like press the channels on the front. My sisters used to use me as the remote because they would go like, "Oh, Will, on ITV it's Popeye," and I'd be like, "Really?" And they're like, "Yeah." And I'd put it on and be like, "This isn't Popeye. It'll be on in a bit. And I'd be like, "On CBBC now, it's Popeye, is it?" And then I would always fall for that because I had no concept of Popeye wasn't on every single channel all the time.
I hate your sisters now.
Yeah, I hated them too.
Them then.
When I got wise to that, I hated them and locked them in things. Apparently.
You got your revenge.
You see, I never played games consoles. What I used to do, I had Lego Football, which is like it's like sort of not quite like Subbuteo, but a bit like Subbuteo.
Subbuteo, that's the word that I was looking for. I was trying to think about what it was. Anyway,
it's like Subbuteo, but made out of Lego, and the people don't move.
Yeah.
But I used to play that a lot on like Saturday mornings, or Saturday afternoons, while I was listening to the football.
Yeah.
But I took it quite seriously because I had about 4 teams. Because it came with 2 teams.
Yeah.
I got like an extra team just because I thought it would be cool for variety. And then I made like a Sunday league team.
I love that so much. That's my favourite part of this.
I got like random assortments of other Lego people, like Lego pirates, like a chef, a knight with one hand. They were sort of like the rejects that I didn't use for other stuff. Like I turned them into like a pub football team, and I made like a mini league with these 4 teams, and like I'd actually do it properly, and I'd like record the scores and make a table and everything. But not only that, I recorded sort of who scored. I also recorded in my mind how well people played, and then at the end of the season, I calculated their transfer values. And I actually, I gave each, depending on where they came in the league, I gave each team a budget, and they could buy new players, and the players would swap teams.
Oh, you know, that knight with one hand has been doing excellent this season. I valued about 16 million. Where did he play?
Well, they didn't really have proper positions. It was like 2 middle people, 2 wide people.
Yeah.
Might have been more actually. Might be 3 middle people, 2 wide people. So they didn't really have proper positions. It was like there was like a left back, a central midfielder, then someone who played like in the far right hand corner, and then like a striker. It was a bit rubbish. So they didn't have positions. But yeah, I used to spend a lot of time and I'd do multiple seasons, and eventually like based on their previous value. I took it quite seriously.
Yeah, I love that story so
much. As a child,
and didn't you say that the Sunday team used to perform worse?
Yes, I think I didn't intentionally do it. I think subconsciously I did make them perform worse, and nobody ever wanted to buy the players. Partly because I didn't want to have a good team with a pirate in.
Yeah, that'd be rubbish. That.
But yeah, no. I as a child I used to like statistics and messing around with things like that.
And when you transferred players, did you just take the head off and put it into the other strip?
Yeah, basically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because they had different hair and different faces, so most of them were sort of identifiable. But they'd change kit. Yeah, because they all had numbers on their backs as well. I had stickers that went on, so you could change their numbers and stuff.
Good times.
Yeah, I actually put a lot of. That's what I used to do instead of playing Mario Kart, and I think I've turned out more mentally stable than you.
I would severely disagree. Yeah. Oh, in fact, speaking of Mario, just like on an off note, this is another embarrassing story. I remember when I first saw the boos, they're like these ghosts. Every game's got to have like a ghost level, and so like, and the first time you see it, it's just like in a random corridor, and I just saw that, burst into tears and fear. I was so scared of it. It's quite.
We had like computer games like on the PC, and we had like Frogger. and I was always scared of Frogger.
You're scared of Frogger?
There was I think it might be Frogger or Frogger 2. Well, one of them. There was a bit where it went into a haunted house. I never used to like that. It used to make me feel like claustrophobic.
Yeah, but Frogger's like a 2-dimensional jump over things game, isn't it?
Frogger 2 is 3-dimensional.
In fact, let's just get a quick picture of it, and so I can judge you, because I'm going to assume that you're a nitwit. Oh yeah, okay.
There was a bit where it went into a haunted house and ghosts came out and they ate you, and it got a bit serious, and I couldn't handle that. As a child, I could not handle it.
It got too dark. Other video games. Well, I mean, also, speaking on the sort of Mario theme, Mario Party. If you ever had that, right? I can just imagine the drinking games that could come out of that now. It's like a board game within.
Okay, yeah, carry on.
Like a board game within a video game with lots of little mini games. I really need to crack that out.
A board game, so it had bits. I think imagine people drunk would not be able to do that.
No,
very well.
like on the screen though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was quite imaginative.
Not an actual board game.
No.
That wouldn't make sense. No, my friends invented the Age of Empires drinking game.
Age of Empires.
Hilarious.
All right, go on.
Well, Age of Empires is brilliant. Anyway, what you do is you assign each person a villager noise. I don't know if you know.
Oh yeah,
they make like Wimby, like that, and make you each have your own villager noise, and then you just click on random villagers, and then whatever noise they make, it's your turn to drink.
Yeah, but like they cycle every like
no, because it would be relatively random. It would depend, because if you've got like 20 villagers, you just click on one.
If you're just keep going, da da.
If you click on the same one,
da 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 da. Did you do it that fast, or?
Well, I've never partook in this, but my friend, it sounds brilliant.
I like the sound of it, no doubt.
It is brilliant. Now we're going to move on.
Yeah,
we're going to move on to Will's Wide Web. That's my segment.
Yeah.
As you're aware, I mean, last week we talked about alternatives to Halloween. It has been Halloween this week. You can't really miss it. The alternative to Halloween being.
You say that you can't really miss it. I think I did. Because I didn't realise.
It was yesterday.
That was yesterday.
I didn't actually do anything for it yesterday.
No, well, yeah, when I went on Saturday. Until the lecturer said, "Oh yeah, glad to see that everyone came here." You know, since it's saying it was Halloween, and I just felt so out of touch.
Yeah, but to be honest, like, I don't. Well, apparently, like, not many people went out last night.
Yeah, well, what night was it?
Monday.
Piper, you know.
Yeah.
Oh,
so anyway,
parks,
we're digressing. I'm going to talk about some of the best and worst outfits, Halloween outfits that I've seen on the internet this week. Starting with the worst.
Yeah.
This comes courtesy of BuzzFeed.com. It's the sexy Virgin Mary outfit. Now I'm going to explain why that this is a terrible outfit. What sort of piece by piece, almost word by word. Sexy Virgin Mary. To me, just strikes me with cock tease. Yeah. That is essentially what it is. And the whole kind of point in Mary is that she is a virgin and that she never has sex. And so in what way like, really, is she sexy?
Yeah, because that's just saying defiling the Virgin Mary. Which
that is sacrilegious.
I'm going to say, right, before we get into trouble for this, I definitely think that is a bad thing to do.
I definitely think that is a bad thing to do.
And I actually genuinely think that.
Yeah.
Having another go on a prostitute's probably alright, but not defiling the Virgin Mary. Don't do that.
That is actually terrible. This outfit. Yeah, one.
In fact, morally, this is just...
It is awful. Plus, also, she was 16 when she had Jesus.
Yeah, well.
So she's jail debatable in the extreme. Virgin, and the actual picture of it was on a website. It was like you could buy it. It wasn't actually someone wearing it. It was actually just a picture of a Virgin Mary outfit.
Yeah.
And what they'd done to make it sexy was superimpose a pretty lady's face over the face of the person that was actually supposed to be there. Because the face was sort of disproportionately large on her.
Yeah, I noticed.
There was like nothing revealing about it in any way.
Yeah.
It was just a normal it was just a normal Virgin Mary outfit.
To be honest, if you want to go out on the pull, then do something like...
Don't dress as the Virgin Mary! Plus, it's a Halloween event, which is totally anti-Christian in every way, which is one of the reasons why I hate it, because America, probably the most Christian country in the world, and they invented Halloween, which is a sort of pagan, anti-Christian festival.
I know, but they're all bloody daft, aren't they?
But they are American, you've got to kind of expect it. Which brings me nicely on to... Oh, no.
Well, I was just going to say, it's funny what some girls dress up as, right? Because
Mostly cats.
yeah, what's sexy about a cat? Nothing.
It's just that it
And I've seen on Facebook some girls have gone really half-hearted and they've just drawn some whiskers and put a blot on the nose. That does not count as a cat. At least get to me as you.
Why is it that uniform of girls dress as cats? What did you dress as, James?
I dressed up as a prick, which is how I usually dress.
Wow.
Well, that was my planned explanation. Nobody really asked.
That is bad. They're not even wearing black.
I know. It's in fact, it's just,
And one of them is wearing a Hawaiian flower chain
Hawaiian
thing.
cat. Yeah, we saw quite a good outfit at a house party that we went to recently, where a guy was he was wearing a subway apron. And he had a label around his neck saying "Your future," which I thought was really
quite funny. Yeah, he was an ex-student,
Yeah.
so that's what made it funny.
Yeah.
But also an ex-Subway employee.
Yeah,
So
yeah. So
jokes
there
on
you
him, really.
go. And also just to go with the Mary theme quickly, there was a guy who was dressed as Jesus.
Yeah.
So it's nice to know that the celebration isn't completely without its Christian elements.
There were some vicars as well.
Yeah. In fact, that was quite
But,
convenient.
For a non-Christian event, you just tend to attract a lot of people to dress as sort of clergymen.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's about, which brings me not very nicely onto my
Sorry for ruining that.
best Halloween outfit of the holiday.
Yeah.
I can't really explain this that won't make it brilliant,
Right.
but it is brilliant. So what I'm going to do, this is where the Will and James show gets interactive. I'm just going to post it on our Facebook.
Ooh.
I know, but it's worth it because it is a superb picture. So here goes. I'm about to post it on our Facebook.
I hope that everyone listening is on our Facebook. I hope that you have got all of our various social networking things open. We've got the YouTube. What's the YouTube address, Will?
It's just Will and James Late Show.
Okay, yeah, Will and James. So YouTube. .com/user/Will and James Late Show. We've also got the Facebook, and if you search for the Will and James Late Show,
The Will and James Late Show at 8:15.
Yep, then you will probably find it
With an @ sign.
Yeah.
People need to get on that. There's already loads of people on it. Yes, I've just posted the best Halloween costume I have ever seen in my life.
Shall I check it on this computer over here?
Shall we talk to each other on Facebook whilst on the radio? Yeah. Let's do that.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, moving on slightly to a non-Halloween themed website.
Yeah.
I've got a few products that are available on Amazon.
Oh, go on.
Some products that possibly shouldn't be available on Amazon,
Yeah, go on.
but still are available on Amazon.
Right.
One of them is a children's book. I'm going to start with the children's book, and this has got some fantastic reviews.
Right, yeah.
It's called Everyone Poops. Okay.
Right.
$7.95.
I like it already. I think I need this to boost my self-esteem anyways, because I feel like an outsider in my own house.
Possibly only it is available in paperback.
That's brilliant.
But yes,
Just
everyone.
in case you run out of toilet paper.
The book Everyone Poops, and it has this fantastic review.
Right, go on.
First of all, well, I should point out the cover of it is a child with a sort of scrunched up face,
Right.
the back end of a horse, a duck, and a half-eaten apple. Okay, because apparently that sort of stimulates into thinking that everyone poops. But anyway,
The apple.
a customer has left this comment. First of all, what's up with the apple on the cover of the book? My child now thinks that not just everyone, but everything poops. I've explained to him at least 4 times now that no, apples do not poop, but he continues to tell his friends. The other day, when he saw a squirrel with an acorn, he asked me if the acorn was tree poop. This book, while sort of funny, is obviously misleading. The illustrations also portray pooping to be a very jolly event, and my child, who I was trying to potty train at the time that I read him this book, thinks it's very cute to poop in his pants. And everywhere else, for that matter.
But
I
really,
do
it's
not
something that
recommend this book to any parents trying to teach their child about potty training.
It feels a lot like they're just trying to make them feel ashamed of it. I bet there are some like really uptight Christians, and not that there's anything wrong being Christian, but I imagine that they would be like really uptight. It's like
Well,
stick up the bum.
To be honest, it is a book called Everyone Poops, with a picture of an apple on the front.
Yeah.
I can see why that's misleading. Someone
Yeah,
else has left the comment, this book states that everyone poops, but I don't.
I like that one as well.
Other things available on Amazon. for $43.50, James,
Yeah.
you can get your hands on fresh whole rabbit. Fresh whole rabbit.
Wow.
Okay. Someone has left the comment. This rabbit didn't appear to arrive whole. It was missing its head, its skin, and its insides. I don't know if these were lost during transit, but it certainly wasn't a whole rabbit.
It would be especially disappointing if you got that as a present for your young daughter.
Yeah. Well, why would you give your... right, okay.
Mr.
Yeah,
Fluffy.
to be fair, it doesn't specify that it has to be living. There's another one. This is another book. It's a book called How to Avoid Huge Ships, available in paperback. It's one of these hilarious circumstances where it's got a 4-star review. So it's got a few 5-star reviews, and then one 1-star review.
Somebody
said, "This book didn't work for me. I hit a huge ship."
I love it. Do you have time to read this one out?
I've got one more.
Oh, okay, go on.
I think. And then you can read yours out. This final one is worth $151.
Right.
Quite expensive.
Yeah.
It's a male testicular exam model anatomy.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, go on.
It's a prosthetic ball sack.
Yeah.
And someone has said, "I certainly can't find a better way to spend $151 than on a rubber scrotum. Hell, at that price, they're practically giving them away. You'd have to be nuts not to buy one. Now I can take a break from squeezing my own scrotum constantly and give the little bugger a breather. Take the plunge, folks, because you're sure to have a ball with it."
I think if they dropped some of the puns, it would have been better.
It would have been better without the puns, yeah. But amazingly, that has 11 5-star reviews.
Yeah.
There's 152. Who would spend £152 on a prosthetic ball sack?
Yeah, no, like
It's very niche, too niche. I'm gonna put a link to that as well on the face. Actually, no, I can't be bothered.
Yeah. Right, this is because I like to keep a bit of facial hair on the old facey poos, and I was looking around for a trimmer so I could like sort of regulate the length. And this is a review for Babyliss for Men. I'm not going to say like the product name and all that. Due provenance, because Jam Radio is well into that. So this is from a guy on Amazon. He says, "Please note, this does not work on pets or horses." It appears that Babyliss' target demographic for this product appears to be human males, and not, as the word groomer in the title would suggest, horses, cats, or dogs. I'd originally bought this in order to groom my horse for the annual local equestrian competition, and even fully charged and tested it on myself. But alas, the horse expressed its displeasure at the pulling action of the quick blades with a whinnying shriek. Its ire increased when it was time to trim the equine's thighs, and this earned me a strict kick of its hind legs, which crushed my ribs. I had to spend several weeks.
Serious.
Yeah. I had to spend several weeks in hospital where I noticed the female staff would give me extra attention. However, this attention waned as the week went on. Then I realised the attention was renewed only when I used my Babyliss for Men 7854U eye trim stubble plus rechargeable groomer on my facial hair. I was a bit concerned at first. I'd forgotten the charger at home. Luckily, the groomer had a long charge time and I was able to continue using it off the charge from that fateful day. While attention pleased me, I felt that I needed to be true to myself, so I stopped trimming for a week. As the number of attentive females around me dwindled, only one remained behind, the loveliest lass I ever laid my eyes upon. I asked her to marry me and she said yes. After being discharged from the hospital, we went home together and we spent many evenings in blissful conversation and housework together. One day, I called her to my side and asked her if she could do me a favour. She responded that she would do anything, with a smile that brightened her already rosy cheeks. I handed her the Babyliss for Men 7845U eye trim stubble plus rechargeable groomer and asked her to groom the horse's thighs. And that is how I won the equestrian competition. That's a heartwarming story, although a little drawn out for radio.
A little bit drawn out, possibly slightly manufactured.
Yes, I think probably about 100%.
Probably 100% manufactured. Right, we're near at the end of our show, James. We've got a couple more songs to play. We've got The Only Way is Wessex to play.
Yeah.
And then that's pretty much it
that's
for
gonna be it.
episode 3 of the Will and James show.
Yeah.
It has been very interactive. It's been very fun.
There's been a lot of words spoken.
Possibly too many.
Yes.
This is a song that I don't know.
The Will and James Show from 8:15 till late 15.
Oh. Welcome to The Only Way is Wessex.
Why, hello, Bingley.
Hello, Mr. Darcy.
How have you been?
I've been very
Well, I have not been very well at all, Bingley. I went to the doctors to alleviate my weeping willy that I told you about last week.
Oh, yes?
And I had an altogether different experience to one that I was expecting.
Oh, really? How so?
The doctor said that men of my age may experience bowel discomforts.
Bowel discomforts? Do you mean anal leakage?
No.
Colon blow?
No.
Ass quake?
No.
Green apple quickstep?
No.
Green apple foxtrot?
No.
Green apple waltz?
No.
Green apple tango?
No.
Hershey squirts?
No.
Havana omelette?
No.
The runs?
No.
The shits?
No.
The squirts?
No.
The trots?
No.
The tits?
No.
The squats?
No.
The squats?
No.
The squats?
No.
The chocolate knickerbocker glory?
No.
Then what do you have?
Well, he examined me for growths.
As in hemorrhoids?
No, as in cancer, Bingley.
Cancerous growths? In your arse?
Apparently so. Apparently men can get these things.
Dear me, well, I...
Look, what I'm trying to say here, Bingley, is have you been tested?
Well, I can't say that I have. What does a testing involve?
Look, I think that we should get this over and done with.
What? So you're going to professionally diagnose me?
Yes.
Or what does such a diagnosis involve?
Well, I would have to spread your buttocks, Bingley, and then insert one of my fingers into your anus and palpitate it for 60 seconds. And in doing so, I would be able to feel whether you had any growths there.
Goodness gracious, it sounds ghastly. But if it's for the good of my health,
Yes,
I suppose I must.
It very much is. Now, what you need to do, Bingley, is to remove your long johns
Okay.
and just strain over this desk for me in the brace position. Yes, that's very good. Now, it might feel cold, but that is correct. Now, would you like me to lubricate it for you?
No, just as you are.
Very well. Here we go, Bingley. Is that okay?
Yes. Yeah.
Now, I just need to... Please, remain calm, Bingley. I just need to palpitate. Bingley, compose yourself.
I'm sorry, Darcy.
It's not that bad, Bingley. Oh, we found something. No. Okay, very good. I think that is enough.
Well, thank you for being such a good friend, Darcy.
That's very fine.
Well, where do we go from here? Oh, look, there's Elizabeth.
Well, I shall make myself scarce. I do not want to fraternize with her.
Well, I will see you on the morrow, Darcy.
Very well.
Yep.
We shall not talk about this, Bingley.
Ever. Goodbye.
Hello, Bingley.
Hello, Elizabeth.
How are you today?
Well, I think I'm fine.
What do you mean?
Well, I've just had my prostate expected by...
What?
My prostate.
What is that? It's not something to do with your horses, is it?
No, it's...
Is it something to do with your house?
No.
Your mother?
No. It's something quite different. It's well, there's an element of health in which a man can grow a cancerous lump on his prostate.
Oh. What happened?
Well, Mr. Darcy inspected me for it.
Oh, how did he do that?
Well, he leant me over a desk and then shoved his finger up my... Well, I hate to say it.
That sounds very similar to an experience I had with Mr. Darcy, but only earlier today.
Oh, really? What was it called? A prostate exam?
I think that's what he said to me, yes.
What? Do women have prostates?
Yes?
Oh, I thought I was...
He said it was for my health. He was concerned that I might get cancer.
Oh, right. I see.
He did the same to you?
Yes, he did, for a bit. So, why did he run off in such a hurry?
Well, it was a bit of an awkward moment whilst he was giving me my examination, you see, Bingley.
Yes?
There was a slight incident.
Oh, really?
There was some anal leakage.
Somewhat.
Assquake.
Pardon?
Colon blow.
What did you say, sorry?
Some green apple nasties.
My apologies.
Green apple quickstep.
Pardon?
Some green apple splatters.
I'm sorry.
A Havana omelette.
Pardon?
The Hershey squids.
What?
Some Nesquik.
Excuse me?
The runs.
What?
The squids.
What?
The squats.
Pardon?
The squirrels.
Sorry?
The trots.
Pardon?
The trucks.
Sorry?
The tits.
Pardon?
The tats.
Pardon?
The whistlebelly thumps.
What?
The green apple foxtrot.
Oh, the green apple foxtrot.
Yes. But at least I don't have cancer. Oh, wow.
Wow.
Oh, wow. It's great to have an update from those guys.
Yeah, it's great that we really we held in all the bad things that we were going to say in that episode. I think that we
To be fair, that is an edited version of what we were going to say. The unedited version may be available online at some point.
I don't think so, mate.
No.
So that is pretty much all we have time for.
That is nearly all we have time for
Yeah.
today. Yeah, we'll have this up online. We'll have our previous one up online soon.
Yeah.
Within hours. Within hours of this.
Hopefully,
Hopefully, if you get around to it. What are we going to do next time? What's our topic for next time?
School, I believe.
Oh yes, more embarrassing stories. We actually have some embarrassing stories left over. So
Yeah, we might crack some of those out because there are some absolute gold.
there is some gold in there that we haven't had time to do. But yeah, so next time, embarrassing stories from Will and James about our school.
Yes, more sharing our intimate details.
Very. We should take this opportunity to apologise further for any offence. If you have been affected by any of the issues raised in tonight's show, possibly by...
Then I would see a doctor.
Yes, see a doctor, or keep it to yourself.
And if you've been offended by any of the material in tonight's show...
We
then,
can only apologise.
Well, I would say grow up.
Oh, wow. James.
I hate to be over tactful, but, you know. Anyway,
Yes, that's it.
yeah.
We've got time for one last song, and then we must bid farewell.
One more tune.
Thank you for having me, James.
One more tune.
Have you felt that the confessional therapy has helped you?
Yeah, I don't have quite as much self-loathing, although it's still definitely there,
Yeah.
very thickly.
Yeah.
But that's not really going to change, though, is it?
No.
No, I don't think
No.
so. So, how do you feel after it?
I feel like great weight has been lifted.
That's just because you went for a dump in one of the song breaks.
That
One
is
more
not-
tune. One more tune before we say anything that will incriminate us.
Goodbye.
Will and James Late Late Show. We can actually be very silly boys. We apologise.
We apologise for everything that's
I
been said.
particularly apologise.
James should apologise profusely for everything that he
Thanks
said
for
today.
listening, guys.
We'll see you later.
The Will and James Show from 8:15 till late 15.
Aww.